T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News. My name is Lori SWAN. I hope you guys are all doing well. If you are in the live chat, we do ask that you keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platform we're utilizing tonight. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, so you know when we go live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Ernie.
It's good evening over here. I hate daylight savings time.
Oh. Yeah, it was, I don't like it. I don't like it when we lose an hour. When we gain an hour, I'm not so bad on it, but, you know. Wow. You had said something before we went live. You said it's, strange times we live in.
Very strange times. Oh my goodness. I mean, we talked about it before that, we're less than 3 months into the new year and more stuff has already come to fruition than all of last year.
Yeah.
And the following year combined, I would say, in my opinion. And I'm afraid that things are going to get worse. That's what we're going to be discussing tonight, that it's already happening.
Yeah. If you guys aren't aware of what happened on Friday, the the Federal Reserve stepped in and took control of banks. One in particular was the Silicon Valley Bank, but it has since trickled down. And the word that they use, which I thought, and I said this yesterday when I did that quick live, that I thought it was interesting that they were using the word contagion. I mean, I could see where they're using it because it is having a trickle down effect. It is affecting other banks, not so much from logistics with the banks, but the panic of the people, I guess you would say, run on the bank, going in and panicking and we're trying to take out their money. People don't realize that banks, it's not like it used to be. Banks only have a certain amount of cash that they have in their vault. So if you have $100,000 in your bank account and you want to go in there and you want to take $100,000 out, you're not going to be able to. And you're going to sit there and go, they don't have my money. They don't have my, no, they never had your money at the bank, ever. Unless you went in with cash and deposited in there, and then it didn't stay for very long. It got moved to another location. So,
well, a lot of banks are doing is cashing out and getting bonds too. Just because the interest rate at the time was pretty decent to be able to invest in those, and now those are starting to backfire, and therefore banks don't have enough funds to be able to cover the losses that they're incurring, and people who are trying to go get that money, of course, they're not able to do so. They don't have the capital to be able to
cover it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is having a trickle down effect, or a contagion is the phrase that they're using, effect. So I want to thank Deb for giving me this afternoon, drawing my attention to this. This is the list of banks that have over the weekend since Friday gone into the red. And let's see, let me see if I can start at the beginning. Here we go. So from the beginning, this is a list. We have Regions Financial Corporation, Capital One, M&T, Citizens, PNC, Fifth Third, Trust Financial, Wells Fargo, Huntington, KeyCorp, JP Morgan, Bank of America, First Republic, Citigroup, Signature Bank, State Street, Northern Trust, SVB, and the Bank of New York Mellon. Those have all gone into the red since Friday. Definitely having a snowball effect when it comes to these financial institutions.
Absolutely. And when you look at the term that they're using, you mentioned this on Friday, contagion. Like this is like a virus. It's going to be spreading throughout all of the banks. So those who have accounts set up in small banks, they eventually will be affected as well. Monday is going to be a very pivotal moment in our economy, because you're going to see a lot of panic going on within the banks where people are going to try and get their money out.
Yeah.
But the problem, the banks control the interest rates, they control the value of the dollar, they control stuff that you buy, sell, or trade. Regardless if you take the money out of the bank, once everything crashes, that money is going to be worthless.
Yeah. The Bible tells us that in the end times, it's going to be a week's wages for a loaf of bread. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see, but here's the thing is the Federal Reserve is trying to stop this. Now, we found this very interesting that this has just come up in the last little bit. This was released today, the 12th. You can see March 12th at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So and it's a Sunday, and yet it says another bank is shut down. U.S. regulators on Sunday shut down the New York-based Signature Bank in a bid to prevent the spreading banking crisis. Washington, D.C., the following statement was released by Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen, Federal Reserve Board Chair Jerome Powell, and FDIC Chairman Martin Gruenberg. Today, we are taking decisive actions to protect the U.S. economy by strengthening public confidence in our banking system. This step will ensure that the U.S. banking system continues to perform its vital roles of protecting deposits and providing access to credit to households and businesses in a manner that promotes strong and sustainable economic growth. After receiving a recommendation from the board of the FDIC and the Federal Reserve and consulting with the President, Secretary Yellen approved actions enabling the FDIC to complete its resolution of Silicon Valley Bank, Santa Clara, California, in a manner that fully protects all depositors. Depositors will have access to all of their money starting tomorrow, Monday the 13th. No losses associated with the resolution of Silicon Valley Bank will be borne by the taxpayer. We are also announcing a similar systemic risk exception for Signature Bank, New York, which was closed today by its state chartering authority. All depositors of this institution will be made whole. As with the resolution of Silicon Valley Bank, no losses will be borne by the taxpayer. But I'm going to show you guys something. Look at this. 97.3% of deposits are not FDIC insured. That's a lot of money that's not insured. So we're going to have to wait to see tomorrow what happens. Who are they going to honor and who are they not going to honor? Because they're not, according to this, they're not going to be able to honor everybody. 97.3% of all deposits are not FDIC insured.
Makes you wonder how do you get your deposits insured?
I guess they decide when you take it in if it qualifies, if it goes in, if the qualifications that they have. I'm sure they have qualifications for it. So what we're going to be keeping an eye on tomorrow is this, though. This is right from the federalreserve.gov website. They're saying there's a closed board meeting tomorrow. It is anticipated that the closed meeting of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System is going to be at 11:30 a.m. on Monday, March 13th, 2023, will be held under expedited procedures as set forth in Section 261B.7 of the Board's rules regarding public observation of meetings at the Board's offices at 20th and C Streets, Northwest, Washington, D.C., and by audio-video conference call. The following items of official board businesses are tentatively scheduled to be considered at that meeting. And it goes on and it's talking about what's going on with the banking system at the moment. So this is something that we're going to keep an eye on, because this is definitely going to have, I'm going to use that word again, a contagion effect. It's going to have, whatever they decide to do tomorrow is going to affect all of these banks. I'm predicting we're probably going to see more of these banks tomorrow going into the red.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a prediction. It's more of a spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. We talked about it many times about how we're going to witness the fall of the economy. They're going to see banks starting to fall on a Friday, declare a bank holiday on a Monday.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see the real stuff start happening on that Tuesday. Now, when we look at the grand scheme of things, those who invested in other stuff such as retirement, 401k, stock options and stuff like that, they're at high risk right now.
Right.
Because once the banks start to go, that's when all the other dominoes will start to fall.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes the stock market itself, because obviously the stock market is based on the value of the dollar and the value of the company. If people are getting too scared and want to pull out, that's going to cause everything else to crash.
Right. Yeah. And this started on Friday. We saw the stock market starting to drop on Friday, and thank goodness it did not get to the point where it hit the automatic shutoff for it. I was waiting to see that and to see if that was what happened on Friday. It did not. But with the events that have happened over the weekend, with the Fed's, the Federal Reserve announcing a closed meeting tomorrow, I think this is going to have a detrimental effect on the opening bell tomorrow morning when Wall Street opens.
I mean, we're looking at this stuff that's happening, but we obviously got to look at the day that it's happening too.
Yeah. The Ides of March is coming up, guys. I find this is very suspicious as to the timing of this.
Absolutely. I mean, tomorrow is the 13th of the month. And Lori, what is the significance of the number 13?
Well, 13 is the Illuminati number. That's the the unlucky 13. Friday the 13th was when the Knights Templar were attacked. So number 13 does have a significance. But this, here's the thing is, it's hard to pinpoint a day this year that's not going to be, because we are in the year of the chaos. We are in the 322. We are in the 2023. Take the 0 out and you get the 322. Number of skull and bones, the number of chaos. So every single day of this year, they don't have to pick a particular, and that's been apparent because of, it's been something every day. It's been 2 or 3 things every day. I'm in a chat with, my friends, and we're just constantly bumping stuff off of each other. And it's just, some days it's just so much.
I mean, how many articles and videos have we sent each other over the past week alone?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to tell you guys that it's not just the United States that has the effect, that it's affecting as well. I'm going to put this video up. It's not just the United States. Take a listen.
At Silicon Valley Bank, we deal in innovation. This means we have the coolest clients of any bank.
Pitched as a bank for the businesses of the future, customers of Silicon Valley Bank are this weekend locked out of their accounts with no idea when or if they'll get access to their funds.
Hello again. It's me.
Businesses like Lingumi, an online tutoring tool run from London, use the bank's UK subsidiary, with 85% of the firm's cash tied up there.
Critical bills are coming up tomorrow morning. I cannot walk into a Sainsbury's right now and buy a banana with our company money. We do not have access to it. And that is true of 40 to 50% of technology businesses, technology startups in the UK. It is absolutely critical that we get a solution as soon as possible.
And tonight, that solution for the UK offshoot, based here in central London, could be closing in. The Bank of London has confirmed it's submitted a formal offer to buy it. Sky News understands Oak North Bank, founded by an ex-Tory donor, is in talks as well, with interest also from HSBC, JP Morgan, and a Middle Eastern fund. But even if a buyer is found, the Chancellor may still need to step in to help firms with immediate cash flow issues.
There is a serious risk to our technology and life sciences sectors, and we are working at pace on a solution. We will bring forward very soon plans to make sure people are able to meet their cash flow requirements, pay their staff.
The Chancellor is playing down risks to the wider economy, but tech bosses say as well as damage to their sector, there's also the potential for a ripple effect that does impact other walks of life. It's an unwelcome development days before the budget, especially for a Prime Minister that's put technology at the heart of his plan to grow the economy. Never shy of hiding his California credentials, Rishi Sunak went to university 12 miles away from Silicon Valley Bank's US base and frequently talks of the importance of a thriving tech sector. And that's why this former Chancellor says a solution needs to be found.
It is going to affect the very important fintech sector in our economy, where there's a huge concentration around Silicon Valley Bank UK. And there's a lot of small early stage businesses that are quite important to this economy.
There's no talk of a bailout for Silicon Valley Bank, but there's still a question for the government about how much it's prepared to intervene. The UK offshoot says it will enter insolvency if a buyer isn't found. Companies in the wider tech sector face a nervous wait. Rob Powell, Sky News in East London.
Again, contagion. It's going to be spreading. And when the, you know what? When does Hong Kong open up? When does the stock market for Hong Kong? Give me a second. They should be opening. Hong Kong stock market. There we go. Let's see if they're open yet. Why am I not seeing it? Give me a second.
You know, it's very fitting that a bank that is tied to big tech is starting to fall. I mean,
Yeah.
because as we already are aware that this bank actually deals with a lot of startup companies in
Mhm.
Silicon Valley,
Yeah, a lot of them.
and if they can't get access to their funding that they need to expand and improve their infrastructure, then we're going to see massive buyouts happening, and a lot of businesses will cease to exist because of this.
Exactly. Exactly. Hong Kong stock market is open, and if you guys can take a look at this, it's already on the edge down. If we look down here, we've got China Construction Bank down, HSBC down, CITIC, there's down. These are all in the red. Bank of China down, Hang Seng Bank down. Yeah, it's totally having that trickle down effect. You can see it here. It's just very few on the up. Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to trickle over, but have no fear. Have no fear, because the federal government is they've been talking about. Hold on a second. Yeah, CEO of SVB cashed out billions 2 weeks before Friday. Yes, he did, and that needs to be investigated as well. And I don't know if it will be or not. But Digital Dollar Project, the Digital Dollar Project hired key staffers to expand the U.S. CBDC exploration in 2023. The Digital Dollar Project, a nonprofit focused on catalyzing the public discussion around the U.S. CBDC today, announced new hires to support the strategic growth of its policy research and experimentation teams. This was earlier this year. It just so happened that they finished their report to give to the feds, the Federal Reserve, on Thursday.
It's very fitting. I mean, they do everything by design, and they do everything they do is in a timely manner, is with pinpoint accuracy, to have this stuff playing out for years in advance.
Yep.
So the stuff we're witnessing right now is already have been starting to be implemented years ago. And I don't know if you ever seen the show Mr. Robot.
No. Oh, I don't know. Sounds familiar.
It's a great show. It's about a hacker that eventually was turned into like a quote unquote vigilante and stuff like that. And you see a lot of stuff happening this month in the economy that happened during Mr. Robot, especially with the implementation of a central bank digital currency and crypto and stuff like that becoming on the rise. I suggest you watch it because it is definitely an eye-opening show. I'm pretty surprised that, well, I'm not surprised that they pulled it after so many years, because it started to become very, very true. Not exactly sure if it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime anymore. It was on there, but I would suggest giving it a look. Obviously, we know a lot of things that we see in media and entertainment are stuff that has been pinpointed in reality. So
Telegraphing, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. We talk about the WEF a lot. We talk about things that they've said. We talk about this guy right here where he says you will own nothing and you will be happy. And the World Economic Forum, take a look at, I thought this was interesting. The central bank digital currency, how money would be redesigned. Yeah. Over the past year, an interdisciplinary research team funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and including the MIT Digital Currency Initiative, Maiden Labs, University of Virginia, and 13 research teams in India, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Mexico examined where existing payment technologies were failing to serve society's most vulnerable members and whether a central bank digital currency, or the CBDC, might fill this gap. And that is the one that the research team that just finished up last Thursday. Now, CBDC, the currency, the digital currency, is something that is coming. There's a lot of people. I had somebody send me something today that said, what can we do to prevent it from coming? Nothing. There's nothing we can do because the Federal Reserve by the way, guys, the Federal Reserve is not federal. It has nothing to do with the U.S. government. It is a separate entity. And they are the ones that call the shots. Literally, they are the ones. But I thought this was quite interesting. When I pulled this up, guess who has the patent on the digital passport with the verified data? See it over here?
Sure do.
Bank of America. They got the patent January 10th of this year, 2023. Bank of America owns the patent. Bank of America is number 76 up at the top of this ticker here. That is in the red, which means they don't care. They'll just switch over to the CBDC, and they can do it.
Yeah, they sure do. Unfortunately, all these corporations is going to absorb all of these smaller banks and small companies and stuff like that, and they're just going to take advantage and take complete control over all aspects of government and personal infrastructure, food, water, shelter, technology, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you did mention that if there's anything we can do to stop it. No, we can't. Not only is because of the federal bank, but this stuff has been written and prophesied in the good word for thousands of years. This stuff has to come to pass.
Exactly. So it is written, so shall it be. It's nothing that we can do. And that's not to say that, we're going to, sit on our hands and not fight it. But I mean, the same sense, this is, I'm going to be honest with you, Dave and I did not go to the bank. We didn't go to the bank. We have a certain amount of money that we keep for business purposes, and that's it. That's what we're gonna use should anything happen. Because what is it going to do? We're going to cause further stress on the banking system if we go in and start pulling out our money. First off. Secondly, when it happens, it's going to be worthless anyways. Like I said, it says, a week's wages for a loaf of bread. This paper money is going to be, it's worthless now. But once the petrodollar is completely done and they go to integrate this CBDC, there's nothing that we're going to be able to do. If you want to buy and sell, is it the mark of the beast? Not yet, because they're not requiring us to relinquish our belief in Jesus Christ. But how far behind is it, really?
It's not too far behind, Lori. In fact, we're staring at it in the face.
Yeah. Exactly, Jess. There's no stopping the train. The train left. The Remember, back when Robbie was co-hosting with me, I used to tell Robbie all the time, I feel as if we are at the event horizon, which I do believe that we passed the event horizon last year. And I always used to say that the train's left the station. It's just picking up speed. And, you know, it is what it is.
Right. I mean, it comes a point in time when, I mean, you have to stop relying on the world and putting your trust in the federal government and start putting your trust and faith in God, because they're not, the things of this world is not going to save you.
Mm-mm.
I mean, Lori, I'm pretty sure you're going to probably rebroadcast our sermon from today.
Mhm.
Our pastor really dove deep on our reliance on things of this world.
Right.
And we always are starving for something in this world. We are never satisfied. The only way our hunger can be filled and completely satisfied is through the bread of life, which is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And you know, it's hard, and it's things like this that happen are take its toll on our faith, take a toll on it, because there. And guys, tonight's show was supposed to be about psychological warfare, about you know, how they keep us in a constant state of arousal. And by that I don't mean, you know, sexual arousal. I mean arousal as in fear based, a fight or flight kind of aroused. Feeling emotionally, physically, spiritually. And they do these things in order to whittle us down. And that was what's going to be our show tonight until this came up and decided that this was a lot took precedence. But that show will be tomorrow night, and we're going to talk about that. But that's what they're doing. And it's hard to decipher what is distraction and what isn't. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to take it out of the thing to talk about next. But yeah, I mean, but I think a lot of us are under a lot of stress, a lot of, you know, emotional stress when it comes to this stuff. You know, thinking, how am I going to feed my family? What if the bank? What if they? You know, somebody asked me today. They said, I have a mortgage with the bank. What's going to happen? And I said, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, nobody's talking about the debt ceiling.
Nope, not at all.
You would think that this would go hand in hand. You think that the feds would be saying, okay, well, look at, you know, the debts, that's coming up. What, May? They extended it to May. We don't have long before they call those markers. They call those loan markers, and you know, I'm sorry, guys, but if that happens, we're screwed.
If nothing is done to fix this by tomorrow, then we are witnessing the beginning of the end of the U.S. economy.
Yeah.
I stand firm on that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. For those that don't know what the CBDC is, it is the central bank digital currency. The central bank. The central bank is what wars in the last 2 or 3 decades have been fought over. Keeping these central banks out of countries has cost the lives of Gaddafi, has cost the lives of who's the leader in Venezuela. Iraq was even had to do with a centralized bank. I think there's only 3 countries: North Korea, Iran, and Cuba are the only 3 countries that do not have central banks right now. Everybody else does. I think. I'm pretty sure it's North Korea, Iran, and Cuba.
You know, I went from having a physical anger when I seen this news happening to a righteous anger. You know, and it's hard to just blame people. It's not hard to blame people for this, but we got to look at ourselves and our lust for the things of this world. There's nothing to blame for ourselves but ourselves. We have been indoctrinated into acquiring the things of this world, striving for greatness in this world, trying to get all the riches and recognition and prestige of this world. But as we are now witnessing today, that's all for nothing. We're all doing this to glorify the kingdom of the prince of the power of the air.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting into the physical things in our lives to glorify God. And because of that, we're seeing the end.
Mm-hmm.
And we all are guilty of that, myself included.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's stuff I like to purchase for myself. There's things I want to get.
Yeah.
I've talked about it with a few of you. But the fact of the matter is, when it would come to the point where we got to stop chasing the things that these businesses and corporations who are not of God have to offer to us.
Exactly.
And start searching for the one who created all and provide us with everlasting thirst quenching and hunger fulfillment.
But it's fear that keeps people from that, Ernie. It's the fear of the unknown, the fear of the what ifs, the fear of, if I don't have the money, I can't, I mean, that's right now it's a lot of fear. A lot of fears built up. Kenny says talking about going back to the gold standard is a good way to get snuffed. God, there is no going back to the gold standard. We don't have any gold.
The gold standard is just as flawed as the fiat currency that we're in today. And you have to understand, currency is a scam.
Right.
This stuff is only valued by those who deemed it valuable.
Give it value. Exactly. Do you know that back when there was the Wild Wild West, back when they were building roads out in the West, back when they were building even the Hoover Dam, they had these tent cities that they used to build up in the areas, and they had a store, the stores that were in these little cities, and the workers used to get paid in chips that you could only use them in the local store. Looking back on it, these people were working for free because you could not leave that little settlement. If you left the settlement and went to, say, Las Vegas, your money was worthless, literally worthless. That money only had value in that little encampment that they worked and lived in. So, yeah, we don't have any gold. There's no gold. Fort Knox has been cobwebs and dust for decades. There is no gold to back anything. China and Russia have been buying up the gold for the past 15 years. And China's the one that holds the markers for the United States' loans against the World Bank. So.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. I was right here when I said the three countries were Cuba, North Korea, and Iran. And look at North Korea, Iran are the two countries that they're pushing as they're the bad guys right now. Yeah, well, North Korea is. He's completely crazy anyways. But you know what I'm saying? It's the ones we got the problem with because, he doesn't want this central bank. And Cuba, Cuba is they're in cahoots with Russia. So
all three of them.
Yeah. So tomorrow is going to be one of those days that we're going to definitely, I'll be up early. Matter of fact, this isn't going to be a long show. I said this was only going to be, it's only been 30 minutes. I said 45, I thought. I'm going to be up early tomorrow morning. I'm going to be up when the stock market opens. I'm going to be monitoring for when the Federal Reserve has its meeting tomorrow morning. And I'll be ready to go live once anything happens tomorrow, or if anything happens tomorrow.
Yeah, Lori, I'm assuming me and you're going to be in constant contact throughout the day.
Absolutely.
So whatever you got planned, Lori.
Pull you in.
Now, obviously, I got to do my job, but the nice thing about my job is I can do two things at once.
Yeah. For everybody that doesn't remember, we turned our clocks forward an hour last night. If you do participate in that crazy ritual we do twice a year with our clocks, we lost an hour last night. I wasn't happy. I like my sleep. I like it. I don't like it when we lose an hour.
I do too.
So,
I love sleep.
Yeah. Exactly, Kim. Up early, eyes open. Absolutely. Kim and Deb, we will all be watching. Deb's an amazing researcher, by the way.
I do want to have a recommendation too for you guys. It might be too late already, but I'm not a financial advisor.
Nope.
I've just been blessed to notice trends in the financial institutions. Check on your 401k, check on your bank accounts, get stuff for home.
Yeah.
When I mean stuff, use constructive thinking, critical thinking to understand what I'm talking about. Get stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. And again, it's not stuff that you're going to let go to waste, and you're going to waste your money on, and you're never going to use it. Because, if we don't use it in the next 6 months, you swap it out, and summer's coming, you have a little barbecue, and you just barbecue up the stuff that you bought. Come on. It's food. It's not going to go to waste.
Yep.
Food and water won't never go to waste. So, but anyways, yeah, so we will, yes, Justin, we will be monitoring the situation tomorrow. We will go live if something happens and we think that, we need to talk with you guys. And God forbid we have a bank holiday tomorrow. Because you know what happens on Tuesday.
Yep.
So.
Pray. Most importantly, pray. Getting that word. I probably will be fasting. Well, from starting now until probably midday. I can't fast very long.
Right, yeah, you can.
But I am going to be fasting and going to be praying. And all the stuff that you're in debt with right now and all the stuff that you may owe, once everything crashes, just think, they're going to come get it? Because there's going to be rioting happening. Just worry about God taking over and taking control over your finances in your house.
Exactly. I'm going to put a link in the chat room, and I'll put it in the description area below the video. This is a very good site, and sit down with a cup of coffee. Make sure that you've got time to read. It's very lengthy, but it talks about the history of the U.S. banking system. And literally, guys, it goes all the way through, and it explains how every single economic crash has been choreographed and who it's been choreographed by and what it was choreographed for. It is one of the best things you can ever read to get yourself educated on the history of the U.S. banking system so you understand what is coming.
Yeah, I mean, this is stuff to not to play around with, guys. I know we've been talking about it for a very long time about the crash of the economy. I know we've been blowing a trumpet on this. I know a lot of people call us conspiracy theorists and fear mongers.
No,
but look at what Noah had to go through. Building the ark when there was no water, never had any rain.
Mm-hmm.
He was going through the same things until the rain came.
Yep. Yeah, it never rained. When Noah was telling the people, look, guys, it's going to rain. There's a flood coming. They looked at him like he had 3 heads because it had never rained here before. We had a enclosed system that every morning they got up and there was dew. There was enough dew on the plants and everything that kept everything in harmony. It can you imagine what, he had, for 100 years, he told these people, I'm telling you, the rain is coming, a flood is coming, I'm building this ark, and they were just like, yeah, right. But when that first drop of rain started, because God told Noah, go to the ark, close it up, do not open the door for anybody. And then it started raining. It didn't start raining before. He made sure Noah and everybody was safe in the ark before the rain started. But when that first drop of rain came, I bet you there was just sheer panic because they did not know. And so I'm sure somebody looked at everybody and said, Noah tried to tell us. We didn't listen.
Yeah. It's bad.
So.
But we have something to be excited about, guys. Despite the stuff that's going on in the economy.
Yeah.
We do have something to be very excited about. We can rejoice in knowing that God has overcame all on the cross.
Yeah. Amen to that. Yeah. The war has been won. The price has been paid. We're just here, in the flesh. And yeah. So, all right. I'm going to put all the links in the description below the video for you guys to take a look at. Again, we're not here to give you the fear of panic or the spirit of fear. That's the last thing we want to do. We want to make sure that you guys are informed on what's coming too, because the last thing we want is for you guys to get hit in the side of the head and not know and be like, why didn't Global Watchman News come live and tell us this? That's the last thing we want.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts?
Pretty much giving my final thoughts. But 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. I mean, that should be in your hearts.
Exactly.
Also, been on my heart. Go ahead and read the. If you got a Bible, pick it up. Open up Matthew. Read that.
Any particular chapter?
You'll find it when you see it. I've read the whole one, and I don't want to give out verses because people ain't going to go ahead and open up their Bibles.
Yeah.
I recommend going it. But I can tell you the gist of it. It's in their sermon that we're probably going to be posting here within the next day or so. Jesus is our living water and bread of life. He will provide.
Exactly.
And
all right,
you'll
guys.
see the context of that in that chapter.
Cool. Thank you. I will. I told you I've definitely been picking it up, so I will start with Matthew tomorrow. I think I just finished up, or I'm in the process of finishing up Isaiah. So I will pop over to Matthew. All right, guys. I'm going to put all the links in the description area below. I want to thank you guys for all joining us. I want to thank all of our moderators, and stay tuned because tomorrow we will probably be going live some point during the day. I do want to urge you guys, please, if you haven't already done so, please go over and subscribe to our backup channel just in case anything happens to us over here. Because we have been talking, we've been pushing the envelope quite a bit on this show. Talking about things we probably shouldn't be talking about, but go over and sub to our backup channel. And if you don't see us here on our regular Wednesday nights, that's where you can find us. Also, if you can't find us and you see I didn't save the link, or I didn't subscribe, or I didn't do that, or didn't do this, go over to our channel. Click on the About section, and down here at the bottom, you'll see links. There's a link to our ESWG page on Facebook. There's a link to all of our videos on the archives. There's a link to our Twitter, and there's a link to our backup account. You'll also see Buy Us a Coffee. I have not set that up yet, but that will soon be live as well. So that's where you can find us as well. So, all right, guys. Again, we don't give you guys this to instill fear in you, but to give you the information that you can take and make your families and yourself safe. And until next time, guys, remember, eyes open, no fear. Good night.